Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Desmond wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws, plays a swamp, and pays 1 black for Viscera. Shane's turn has him playing an Overgrown Tomb untapped and taking 2, and then taps it for a green for Llanowar Elves. Eric draws, plays an island, and passes. Etienne has a Fabled Passage, and sacrifices it going to find an island, and passes while searching. Desmond draws, plays a tap Barren Moor, and then casts Gravecrawler. Shane's got a forest, and is able to cast a Grim Haruspex, and passes. Eric just plays a mountain. Etienne has a Polluted Delta, cracking it and losing a total of 3 for an untapped Steam Vents. He's then able to cast a Coruscation Mage, and passes. Desmond's got a swamp, and brings out... He sacrifices the Gravecrawler as Sephiroth enters, drawing a card and draining Eric for 1. He passes after that. Shane's turn has a Deathcap Glade coming in, and he casts Camellia the Seed Miser. He follows her up with a Carrion Feeder and passes to Eric. Eric's got a forest and then plays Flubs. This allows him to play another land for turn, and he discards before passing. Etienne draws, but doesn't have a 3rd land and has to pass. Desmond plays out a Lake of the Dead, and floats a black mana off the swamp before sacrificing it. He then sacrifices his other swamp to the Lake of the Dead, which he uses the mana for to cast Gilded Lotus. He then plays an Avenger of the Fallen, and he goes to combat. Desmond then swings Sephiroth at Eric, and sacrifices the Viscera to Sephiroth's ability. This draws him a card, and drains Eric for 1, and Eric then blocks with Flubs. Shane plays a Ravenous Chupacabra, which as it comes in, deals with Sephiroth. He then sacrifices it to the Carrion Feeder, and draws a card from the Grim Haruspex. He then draws another card by sacrificing Camellia. He doesn't find a land though, and just has to pass. Eric draws, playing a forest and discarding a card. He then plays Biogenic Ooze and discards again. He then plays a Shifting Woodland, and with the discard trigger on the stack, Etienne uses Rapid Hybridization and takes out the Ooze. After that, Eric passes. Etienne draws and still can't find a land, and pays 2 life for a Gitaxian Probe, targeting Desmond. The mage deals 1 to each of his opponents, and he draws from it, but doesn't find a land. Desmond's got a swamp, and sacrifices it to Lake of the Dead to help cast Swiftfoot Boots, and then Sephiroth. Desmond then equips the boots onto Sephiroth, and going to combat, he swings the Avenger of the Fallen and Sephiroth at Etienne. Desmond layers the triggers to mobilize for 2 first, and sacrifices one of them to Sephiroth, drawing a card and draining Eric. The remaining warrior goes at Shane, and Shane blocks with the Grim Haruspex, while Etienne takes the damage. With the token getting taken out, Desmond sends the drain at Shane, and passes after that. Shane just draws and casts a Somberwall Sage, and passes. Eric's got a mountain, and draws again. And then casts Slime Against Humanity. He makes a 5/5 Ooze token, and draws from Flubs. And then casts another Slime Against Humanity, and draws again. He follows it up with a Talisman of Impulse, and passes. Etienne draws but is still stuck on lands, playing at a 3rd Path Iconoclast and passing. Desmond's turn has him playing a Cabal Pits, and he then casts Sheoldred. As she comes in, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature, with Shane drawing off the Grim Haruspex. Desmond also gets 3 Sephiroth triggers and puts them all at Eric. He then swings the Avenger of the Fallen at Etienne and Sephiroth at Shane. Desmond mobilizes first, and once more sacrifices a warrior token, which is the final drain Sephiroth needs to transform. Shane then blocks a warrior, while everyone else takes their hit. After that, Desmond passes. Shane's got enough mana to cast Ygra in his main phase, and passes after his commander resolves. Eric plays a Talisman of Curiosity, and then recasts Flubs. He then plays a Slime Against Humanity, drawing, and then plays a Forest, drawing again. He then goes to combat, and sends a 5/5 and a 6/6 Slime at Desmond, who takes the hit for both. After that, Eric passes. Etienne draws and finally finds an island, playing it and then casting Vivi. Desmond draws, and in his main phase, activates to flip Sheoldred. And as she becomes the True Scriptures, destroys the 3rd Plast Iconoclast, Carrion Fleeter, and a Slime. Desmond then drains Eric for 3 with the emblem, and sends Sephiroth at Eric for 5. Eric takes the hit, and Desmond passes. Shane's got an Undergrowth Stadium, and casts Topiary Stomper. He gets a Swamp, and then casts a Caustic Caterpillar. Going to combat, Shane sends Ygra at Eric, who blocks with a Frog Lizard token. Desmond gets a Drain trigger from the emblem, and does it to Eric, and then Shane passes turn. Eric draws and sacrifices Flubs as a food token to gain 3 life. He then plays Kadam of the West Tree, and then casts another Slime Against Humanity. Going to combat, Eric sends 2 slimes at Desmond, who blocks one of them with the Avenger, but takes 7 from the other. Eric passes after that. Etienne draws, and plays an Arcane Signet. This triggers Vivi, dealing 1 to his opponents and adding a counter onto him. And then activates Vivi to help cast Flames of Anor. He destroys one of Eric's slimes, and draws 2, and then passes. During the end step, Shane destroys the True Scriptures by sacrificing the Caustic Caterpillar, and Desmond sends all of the drains that turn at Shane. Desmond draws, playing out a Swamp, and then casting Sat's Will. This has Desmond getting 3 Thralls from it, and he then sends Sephiroth at Eric. He sacrifices all 3 Thralls to draw 3, and drains Etienne for 3 as well. Eric then takes 5 commander damage, and after combat, Desmond plays Drivnod and passes to Shane. Shane's turn has him playing a Bajuka Bog, which as it comes in, exiles Desmond's graveyard. Desmond then makes Drivnod indestructible in response, and Shane then recasts Ygra and passes. Eric's turn has him replaying Flubs once more and playing at a Waterlogged Grove, drawing a card. He then plays a Biowaste Blob, drawing again, and sacrifices the Grove to draw yet again. He then plays out Vineglimmer Snarl, which has Eric discarding Mizzix's Mastery and passing turn. Etienne draws and is unfortunately very far behind, as he plays an untapped Sporific Springs, and then recasts Vivi. He passes to Desmond after that. Desmond's got a Swamp, and sacrifices it to help cast Zodiarch Umbral God. With all of his opponents sacrificing half their creatures, Desmond gets 6 drains and sends them all at Shane, and Ygra gets 12 +1/+1 counters. Desmond then plays Wishclaw Talisman, and activates it, donating it to Etienne. Desmond then equips the Swiftfoot Boots onto Zodiarch, and sends Drivnod at Etienne. He takes the hit, and Desmond passes. Shane's got an Accursed Marauder in his main phase, and each player sacrifices a creature, with Ygra getting bigger and bigger, and Desmond sends his drains at Shane. Shane follows up with a Fleshbag Marauder to clean up the rest of the board, and continues to grow his commander. Going to combat, Shane sends Ygra at Desmond, one-shotting him clean with a commander damage, and in his second main phase, casts a Kur Tribe Elder, and then a Dustshell Crawler. He ships it to Eric after that. Eric draws and plays an island. He then recasts Flubs. He plays out a Slime Against Humanity, making a slime, and draws a card. He then casts Slime Against Humanity again, drawing another one. He passes after that. Etienne draws and casts Stock Up. He then plays a River Pyre Verge after his spell resolves. We then see a Mage Siege, making him a Wizard token, and passing. Shane's got a Swamp and casts Sereth. He sends Ygra at Eric, and with Death Touch and Trample, Eric can't block enough damage and gets taken out from commander damage. After that, Shane passes. Etienne draws and starts playing his mid-game with a Chandra Spitfire and follows up with Rhystic Study. He passes to Shane after that. Shane draws and plays a Corpse Jack's Menace. He then sacrifices Sakura Tribe Elder to find a basic, but more importantly to grow Ygra. Like Eric, Etienne can't stop the Death Touch and Trample, and Shane swings the commander at him, winning the game through combat. Game review time. I think it's pretty obvious that Ygra was the strongest card this game. It synergized so well with itself and the Sephiroth deck, meaning that all of the removal was just making it grow and grow and grow. Shane having that Dust Shell Crawler in his hand since the get-go was also super sweet since he held it back until he absolutely needed it and started bashing face. I will say that Etienne was bummed out by his Vivi deck. He kept a really decent hand, all he needed was one more land, and I know people are going to say don't keep 2 landers, but it was so close to being just a great hand. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.